it was in recognition of the kind of wallpapers that we had back in the day. And
welcome to Material Musings, where the fabrics tell their tales. Eco-dyed colors from the garden, slow stitches where the heart exhales. Painting cloth and weaving stories, wall hangings blooming bright. Come create with Amanda, where your creativity takes flight.
hello and welcome today. Hi, it's Amanda here, and I'm a mixed media artist, but welcome to Material Musings. It's been a while, hasn't it? I don't know where the time has gone, where March has gone.
So this is
I had a lot going on during the month, and so that had kind of put me out of sorts. It's like a weird thing. If I normally have a schedule, and so I stick to my schedule, and then when other things happen, like you have visitors, my son came to see me, and you then end up doing stuff outside of your schedule. And then a few other things happened. There was some exhibitions and stuff like that. I do have a piece in the Queen's Park Gallery called Reunion. It was for the exhibition called Changes. Anyway, so today I wasn't feeling like stitching, and I haven't felt like stitching for a few... It's been off and on for the past few weeks. While stitching and slow stitching is a thing that really kind of makes me feel relaxed, I find it quite therapeutic. That coupled with other things that I'd missed, like my journal writing and just my creative, it's important to have the things that you do that are creative and the things that you spend time on, and try and make a practice of it. So part of my practice is writing in the morning, doing an art journal, say maybe doing some slow stitching, working on my projects, my many projects. So so then I was out of sorts. So today what I wanted to just go through was a couple of things. One of the things that I bought for my fabrics, and I'll show you. If you have other things that you do, please do leave a comment. And then I was able to rescue some fabric from the landfill, and now I have to find stuff to do with it, but I'll show you. And then one of the other things that I like doing is, if I am feeling out of sorts, what better time than to go through some of your fabric full stop, or it could be beads, or it could be just say tidying up your space. So one of the things that I say is just do something that's creative, or it might contribute to your creative space. So clearing the clutter, or putting away supplies that you're no longer using because they were for a previous project, or trying to order your stuff so that you, as I said, like to stick to a schedule, because I have so many different things going on that I need to know where I am at a given point, or what needs to be done, so that I don't miss deadlines. And so it might be that you look at your schedule and you say, how can I improve this? How can I get back on track, get back on the horse and get going? Anyway, so I thought I would wear my handmade, my necklace, wear yellow and blue today. And, that could be another way that you cheer yourself up. I don't have to go out, to meet the public. I don't have to go out to the shops or anything. So I can wear whatever I want. I mean, I wear whatever I want anyway. But what I'm saying is, you may want to dress up for that day. You may want to wear something that you don't normally, or it's for best. And when does the best ever come? Or when does the, that special occasion, every day for you should be a special occasion. And if you're not going to treat yourself as the special person that you are, who will? So yeah, you know, do something nice for yourself. And that is also something I'm going to do for the next 30 days, for the whole of April. I'm going to, it's not only doing something nice for yourself, it's doing something that it is directly for you, that impacts you, that you've been putting off. So one of the things that I identified was, let me think. There's the patio area, and over time the leaves from the plants on the other side of the kind of barrier was falling over onto the patio, and then you got the dust and everything. And I see it, and then I think to myself, yeah, I'll do something about, I'll sweep up or whatever. And then you forget. And so I looked at that area. Every time I come out in the morning, because I'm sitting out there with Cole, and I might be drinking some of my bush tea. And I'm sitting there and I'm looking at it, and it's just like, it's quite an eyesore for me. And it's just like, it doesn't have to be like this. So I swept it all up, tidied it up. There's some plants I need to put in pots. And what else? There's something that I made. It's like a mini chattel house made from cardboard. And I put plants in. I will share, I'll show you. I think I've showed you before. Anyway, but I've got another prototype that I'm making. And I want to make a few more because they look so cute. Anyway, so let's get on. As I said, there's lots doing, and we will just take a look at a few things. I wanted to keep it light, so you know, you don't feel any pressure to have to make anything or whatever. Going into April, I'll probably be looking at some more of the projects that I'd like to finish, getting those off the ground, and really kind of attacking them. Or spending time with them. Okay, so let us look at these things, and I hope somewhere you're inspired, and if you can be an inspiration and leave a comment, you know, pertaining to, you know, something that you've tried, if you can think of an idea for what I'm going to be sharing with you, then that's great. So let's get on. All right, so I'll show you what I had bought. There are these, I've been wanting to get these for the longest. We have quite high humidity, and in my studio it does get, you know, really hot. And this was just the one that I saw. And so what I wanted to do was get them and put them in all of my containers, because all of my fabrics and everything are stored in these containers. And let me see. All right. I was just like looking at these because they do change colour. It's got these orange little things that change colour when it needs to be dried out, and you can dry them out in the microwave or the oven. So it's specifically for use in containers that you can close, obviously. Yeah. And I bought them because I think I might put 3 in here, because I wanted to be able to reuse them. You know, we're looking at how we reuse stuff, and we're just looking at packet size 20 grams. How much are the packet sizes? Anyway, that's something that I need to look at, because I've just kind of opened them. Anyway, so. But I needed all of my fabric containers. I don't want them to be affected by the humidity. So anywhere there's kind of fabric, they will go. So that's one of the things that I wanted to show you. And then, as I say, it's got these little orange some of the crystals are orange, and what happens is when it absorbs the moisture, it changes and it goes dark. So as I said, I'm going to put 4, probably put 4 in each. If it's more, if it's fuller, then I will add more. So the other thing that I wanted to look at was saving fabrics from the recycling bin. So my neighbour is a seamstress. Well, yeah, I should call her a seamstress. Anyway, so I said, you know, when you're making stuff, if you've got any spare fabric, you know, I'd love to have any of the offcuts. And this is one of the things that she's given me. And so there's different types of fabric in here. Well, it's not different types of fabric, it's all man-made. And then I thought to myself, oh, I wanted to get away from using man-made fabric, but since I've managed to save this, since I've managed to save it from landfill, it's not something that I want to put on my skin. So I want to make stuff that is not going to release microplastics into the environment. So that's the challenge. And when you start looking at, well, maybe not you, but for me, I've started looking at some of the fabrics that I've been working with. A lot of them are man-made, and we'll look at the it's my lace trim embellishments container. So anyway, she had, I think she was making some curtains. So there's these, and then I thought, oh, do you know what, these would be nice to make some bags. So I could make just small bags. I won't have to do much like cutting and all of this. So this is the bottom bit. So it was for a curtain. So that would have been where either the rod or whatever goes in. So I could do a cut, stitch it down the edge and the bottom, and then you've got a nice little gift bag. And that could be something that I, you know, make for my pieces of sculpture, because I have sculptures that I wanted to start putting them in bags when they're sold. So for argument's sake, like something like this could then sit in a bag. Obviously it would have, you know, be wrapped, and this is not finished, so it's one of the many projects. So that was one of the things that I was thinking. The idea of Suffolk puffs came to mind, but I don't think I could make it with this. So they're all the same basically. So I folded them up nicely so that it could be orderly and take up less room. So that's that. That's one. The other one is, there are some other bags that she sent, but these are the ones that were closest. So this is a heavier material. It's got 2 different types of material. Yes, it's matte on one side and then shiny on the other. So I'm not sure. Again, this looks like it will fray. It does fray, so you get the small bits. But what can we make with it? I could potentially, if you had one of those, I think I'd mentioned it before, there's an artist that shreds all the fabric and then mixes some kind of paste and then creates flat sheets. So that's what you could potentially do with this. You could, you know, I don't particularly want to be cutting it up so much with all of this, but again, I want to be able to use it. And if I'm using what I have, this is another slight, oh no, Yeah, it's slightly different, but again, it's just a strip of it. And again, you know, could it be a small, oh, do you know what? I was going to say, could it be a small, like, bag? But I'm thinking, oh, I'm in the process of making some miniature either dioramas, or let me show you this. So I made this a while ago, and it was in recognition of the kind of wallpapers that we had back in the day. And it would be, you know, like brightly coloured, brightly patterned, you know, heavily patterned. And so I'd made these boxes, and it's just like a snapshot into a front room. So that's one. This is just, again, another prototype I was playing with. And then we've got the mini bookshelf there, and we've got a pencil. It's quite a large pencil for the size of this piece, but I was interested in, you know, just, yeah, making these, and using beads, so I could make some of the decoration for these miniature, you know, you would have the curtains, then I could make some small versions of them. Ooh, that's a thing again, but just being mindful about what's shredding, and, you know, so these could be miniature curtains, you know, a small size. Ooh, and even these. So this is, again, I think she was maybe, yeah, probably making curtains. Maybe this was the inside, I don't know. But it's got a very bright pattern that, if you think about, you know, the Windrush generation, and, you know, well, just back in the 70s, 80s, and the kind of, say, fabrics, cushions, this could be a sofa, you know, there was where people would have a living room and a dining room separate, and then the furniture in the, is it the dining room? In one of the rooms, you wouldn't be able to sit on, because that was for guests. Oh, so, I am glad we did this today, because now I've given myself an idea, and I will keep you posted as to how I get on. So I definitely think I'll make some of the gift bags from this, and then out of the others that I've got some other different colours, but they're very much the same sort of kind of fabric. I can think about some of the miniature, you know, decor that they can be used for. So that's wonderful. You're welcome. And so in here, like when we look at, I've collected some of the trim. So a lot of this is from, again, curtains. And this is the kind of stitched area of the curtain. You know, there's so many different shapes that it was just like, as much as I'm not into these kind of curtains, again, it's like very old-fashioned, but look at the kind of, you know, I say imagery, but look at the, you know, the lace that you can get from them. And then this was another one. No, this was, so, yeah, this was, I think it was on something, and I removed it. So what I wanted to see with this one was whether it could be dyed, or what I could do is, you know, using an alcohol marker, I could maybe bring some colour if I wanted to a particular area. But again, it was to see, well, what could they be used for? how could I, let me see this. But I guess, yeah, you know, you could colour, or you could paint, or you could use a conventional dye if you wanted to do kind of a larger area. But these are ones that you can think, okay, well, it's this colour, but I can, you know, change the colour dependent on the project that I'm working in. And it's like a teardrop. And yeah, you can just colour them any colour you want. And again, I'm feeling that somewhere in the miniature is these will come in handy. And so when that dries, again, I'm using what I have, and when that dries, you know, it could potentially go on something else. So that's it a bit closer up, but it's quite pretty. Here's something else I was working on, thinking about creating decorative elements. So these are jeans material, and then I've done kind of, you know, some slow stitching, but that's as far as I got so far. I was just playing because, you know, I wasn't sure what I was making, but this could actually be, ooh, do you know what this could be? It could be a necklace. Take off these bits here and just let it finish here. But I could, you know, either paint it or leave it as is, and the decorative bit is this bit, and I could add, this could be the central bit down your neck, and then it could be like a choker kind of thing, like that. So I'd need to do something to the back. Anyway, so I haven't looked in this container for a while, and so yeah, it's got, you know, different types of lace. This one I got in a thrift store. This one was in a store that was sold them at a reduced price. But when you know, look at them, they are man-made materials. I mean, this might be kind of cotton or whatever, I'm not sure. Again, recycling from a, it was a thing to tie back the curtains, and then it came undone. So it was just like, oh, I wonder what this could be used for. But again, it could be used for edging if you're creating on miniature, or even like with the miniature books that I've created, you know, this could be some sort of the decoration on the outside, or, you know, the edging of just like, you know, a bookshelf. I'm just looking at the bookshelf here, but we've got a bookshelf here, so I could, or on fabric, you know, so if you're doing the couching, you could use that. And then just additional scraps of fabric that I thought, oh, they're flowers, again from a recycled curtain. All of these bits, so these are nice in, like, you know, adding to areas, especially on the miniature. Oh, again, I'm so glad ooh, this was an old tablecloth, basically. It's one of those plastic ones, and it ripped. Let me come out. I put it in the machine and then it ripped. I should have probably put it on a gentle wash, but I totally forgot. But then I thought you could use this as a stencil. Yeah? Ooh. I have used this as a stencil. And, but then, again, as we're talking about the miniature, this could be like a tablecloth. You know, you could do a mini tablecloth. Ooh. Or it could be, you know, not the curtain bit, but I would definitely use that as a stencil. Yeah, I'm going to cut it now. Just cut that bit off. It doesn't need to be that big. But let's, anyway, so I'm going to close and I'll look and see how we can work, what the pattern looks like on that. And let's see what other one. Or should we just take this whole thing, and because there's different, let me take this bit off. So I could potentially work on there. That's a nice little stencil. So you could stencil on fabric, or you could stencil on, you know, paper in your journal. So I'm going to leave that. So I'm going to leave that, and we're going to very quickly, before we go, actually, no. So this is what we're going to do. I'm going to play about first. There's no point me trying to get out all my paints just to show you a quick thing. But I'm going to, I have used something similar and some of the trim to look at. And so what I'll probably do is try and find some more so that I can do a proper, okay, let's try and stencil with these fabric offcuts and, you know, all of the look like this. That would be interesting to stencil. Yeah? Ooh, so I'm going to put that in the pile. So I will gather that, and then next week that's what we'll do. I'll show you what I've done, and we'll do some. Yeah? Okay, so let me leave you, and I hope that you have a blessed week, and I hope that April is, and every single month after that is astounding, and it fills you with all of your creative joy, and you soar in everything that you do. You soar tremendously. Soar tremendously. That you find all the different things that you're inspired by, and you then become a blessing, or continue to be a blessing, and are blessed yourself. Take care for now.